All right, baddies, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, please take a moment to subscribe below. If you are returning, welcome back. You already know Baddiee crew. You can't compare us to the Goof Troops. And if you would like to become part of the Baddiee crew too, it's super easy. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below. Like, I love to hear y'all's thoughts. I love to engage with you all. I do always respond to my comments. So yes, let's get into it. As you all can see from the title of the video, I have a story time for you all. I do want to start getting into the story time or storytelling content because I do have quite a few stories. And yeah, I just think it would be a good way to diversify my content that I'm uploading. So let's go ahead and get into our first story time. Production, run the intro.
Pull up with some baddies in the new bins. All day ones, no new friends. Booty lit, 30 inch. All we do is trap, do the money dance. Baddies.
Okay, baddies, so we are back. Okay, y'all, this story time, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's pretty crazy for me. I experienced this when I was really young, so yeah, just keep that in mind. So I always like to tell people, like, when I started at the bottom, and when I tell y'all I started at the bottom, okay? I did not have a car, and then when I did get my first car, it was a 92 Honda Civic. Okay, the hood was a different color from all of the rest of the car, did not have AC, it only had heat, and was rolling around majority of the time on a donut because this car, just the tires were just, it was just a hot mess, y'all. So this is going back to the days when I used to ride the bus. Anybody who knows anything, especially if you're from Houston, our public transportation system is called the Metro. They have the Metro Rail as well, which is just the train part, but the city buses are for public transportation is called the Metro. So everybody like, oh, I'm finna go catch the Metro bus. So this story, and I hope like this does not like taint Metro's reputation, because that's definitely not what I'm doing. I'm just telling you all what I experienced and how crazy it was. This was definitely not on them. I do believe that this lady had some type of mental health issues, but we're gonna go ahead and get into the story time. So this particular day, I am going to work and I'm waiting at the bus stop. Now, granted, I start getting irritated because the bus is late. And y'all, when I was riding the bus, when I tell y'all, I was one of them girlies who knew the bus schedule by heart, the ones that I took often. And if I didn't know the bus schedule, I had the Metro app on my phone, or the bus schedule they used to print it out in pamphlets. I would have that pamphlet. Like, I knew when them buses was coming, okay? So this bus was late, and it was really late. It was late to the point, like, almost an hour. It was under an hour, maybe like 45 minutes, but somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, this bus was running late, to the point where I had to call my job and let them know I was running behind. And my boss was kind of irritated at the time, but baby, I worked at Denny's. Them people can wait, okay? Like, they was not going nowhere, okay? So, and I was a hostess and a server at Denny's, by the way. I think at this time, I don't know if I was hosting, if I was serving still, but yeah, started at the bottom, was server at Denny's, was riding the bus, waiting for the bus outside. It finally pulls up. Okay, thank God. Bus pulls up, get on, pay my fare. And the way the Metro buses are, when you walk onto the bus, there's I don't know how to explain it. Like, they have the handicap seating for people who are in wheelchairs right at the front. So the seats at the front of the bus face each other so that they could go up and put the wheelchair. And then you had another seat that would face like front of the bus towards the driver. So you had the two handicap seats that face each other, and then you had, after those two handicap seats, you had the seat after that faced the driver. So I sat in that first seat to face the driver. Or I'm trying to hit this mic. So I'm sitting in my seat, and this particular day on the Metro bus, they had a I guess you would call them a surveyor. He was on the bus. Was it voter registration? I think it had to be a survey. I think he was on the bus surveying people about Metro, either about customer service, their experience, something. He was doing a survey. So he came up talking to me about this survey. Asking me if I would like to participate, fill it out. I said, yeah, no worries. He was like, it's just a couple of questions. It's not going to take long at all. Okay, no worries. So he gave me the little piece of paper for this survey, and I'm sitting there filling out the survey. Now, as I'm filling out this survey, I'm kind of in my head, kind of listening to what's around, where are my surroundings. I'm on a public bus. And I hear these two younger girls in the back portion of the bus laughing and giggling like consistently. You know how somebody laughed one time, it's like, oh, okay, somebody said a funny joke. But they, were kind of doing it 2 or 3 times. To the point, they were giggling to the point where it kind of like made me turn around to like look back, like, what's that or what are they laughing at? But they weren't anywhere near me. Like, I knew they weren't laughing at me. So I looked back, and these 2 young girls are laughing at this lady. And I'm gonna try to give a respectful description, but y'all, she looked crazy. I'm gonna just be honest. We gonna call a spade a spade. She looked crazy. Her hair was messed up. She had like inappropriate clothing on. She had like these like tights and like this overdrawn shirt with like a bathrobe tied around her, and her hair literally was all over the place. She looked like something was wrong. So I said, oh, that's so mean that these 2 young look judging and don't know all in the Kool-Aid, don't know the flavor. Cause look, we're gonna get to it. So I kind of started judging them like, dang, like y'all making fun of this lady. And she not even doing nothing to y'all. She's sitting in her seat. It kind of like seemed like she was talking to herself, like under her breath, or kind of like moving around. Like, I don't know, y'all. I couldn't really, pinpoint it, but it's gonna come later on in the story. I promise we're gonna get there. So she's kind of, moving around her seat, and these girls are laughing at her. And I don't know what happened after this, y'all, but I'm sitting here filling out this survey, and then all of a sudden, so if I'm sitting on the bus filling out the survey, I'm looking down. So imagine looking down to fill out this survey, and you see juice start running it's coming from the back of the bus to the front of the bus, but it's passing me. So the juice is on the ground. Oh God, I'm saying juice, but it was liquid. Jesus. Ooh, y'all. It was juice, but it was brown juice. So automatically I'm thinking, what is this? And then it hit me. Some smell like it smelled like some. Well, at first, when I first smelled it, I thought someone passed gas. Okay. Maybe they did a little poo-poo, and maybe something out. But the smell was consistent. And now I see this juice running up the floor of the bus. Now this point is where I turn around. I turn around, and I don't know, the ladies making a commotion now with the girls that were in the back that were laughing at her. They told her, oh, what are you laughing at? And then when I turned around and looked at her, she told me, oh, what are you looking at? And I was like, oh, you don't want beef with me, baby. I'm not them two Hispanic girls back there in the back like me and you can, you know what I'm saying? So, but I let her be because, like I said, you could kind of tell that elevator didn't go all the way to the top, okay? So she kind of like is spatting at everyone on the bus now, me and another guy. And then she's yelling out some of the craziest stuff, which, like I said, this kind of goes to why I think she had mental health issues. She was saying things like, my daughter, you don't know who I am. My daughter is married to Elvis Presley and like all this other stuff. Now, y'all, at this point, Elvis Presley is dead. Okay. So we know her daughter is she not even old enough to have a daughter that would be with. It just don't even try to make no sense of it. She was just screaming out all kind of crazy stuff. So when she said that, when she's saying these things, once she said my daughter's married to Elvis Presley, I already knew, okay, this lady is not all the way, there. You got to give slow people a pass. So I turned back around. I was like, I'm not finna get into it with someone who, obviously has issues and it's not all there. Well, at this point, when she's back here talking, she starts talking to another guy and kind of getting into it with him. Well, when she started getting into it with the man, because she's not talking to me and the two girls anymore, she has something in her hand. And she's telling the guy, I throw this at you. Now, mind y'all, I'm going to tell y'all what it was, and y'all could probably guess already, but that's not that juice. But she was like, I'll throw this at you, like swinging it. She had it like in a sack, and it was, y'all, she threw it out the bus when the bus had stopped, and she threw it out of the back doors of the bus. And I was like, what the hell was that? And the man, I guess he heard me kind of talking to myself because he had moved up here with me by this time. And he was like, she on her, where my sister brought it out, she on herself. I said, what? He said, yeah. So I kind of move up, like where I am in my seat, but stand up to where I could see over the barrier, and you could see in the seat now that there is a puddle. We found out where the brown juice was coming from, y'all. It was a puddle of juice on the seat. And I said, oh my God. I said, this lady didn't on the metro. I said, on the metro? He said, on the metro. I said, oh Lord. Now, when this happens, I'm done filling out the survey, so I'm already walking back up to the front of the bus. I hand the guy who was doing the surveys, I handed him the paper, and then I go to the bus driver. Now, remember, at the beginning of the story, I told y'all that this bus had already been running about 45 to an hour. I can't remember the amount of time, but it was significant. I want to say it was about 45 to an hour, y'all. So, mind you, the bus was late. So I'm at the front of the bus, and I told the bus driver, I said, this lady just on the metro back here. He said, what? And when he said what the first time, it was like he was kind of like he didn't think I said what I said. So I said, let me say it again and say it a little bit louder. This lady took a on the metro back here. He said, you lying. I said, I wish I was, sir. He said, oh God. I said, yeah. He gets on the radio with dispatch immediately. He said, dispatch. He said, we're going to need bus number so on XYZ. We're going to need a cleaning when we get to the transit center. I said, oh my God. The lady on the other line from the talkie, he's a clean. What type of clean? What you mean? He said somebody then took a dump on the bus. I said, oh my God. The way he said it was so funny because he was kind of like already irritated. It seemed like he was already kind of having a rough day with this bus being late. He was just like, yeah. Y'all, when I tell y'all we had to sit on that bus maybe like another 10 or 15 minutes with that smell, it smelled so bad. And I don't know if after this lady got done, she picked up the and that's what she was throwing out the window. But y'all, it was bad. It was real bad. So bad to the point now, comes to the conclusion. We get to the transit center, and now the people who have been waiting on this bus that is late, they're PO'd late, like, oh no. Cause as soon as the bus pulled up, it was so many people, they were just ready to rush on and get on. The bus is late. Baby, that bus driver had to hold them people back and told them they couldn't get on that bus. Baby, they was hot. I got my little self off right at that transit center and got onto my next bus so I could take my bus to work. Y'all, it was crazy. Now, granted, this is when I was younger, so like I said, riding the bus, I have some stories, and there is definitely things that I have seen, but this by far has to be the craziest. So I was like, let this be my little intro to story time, storytelling, because that was just crazy to me. And it was so crazy because the first few times I told this story, like, to my friends and my family, I could not stop laughing. So this is probably one of the first times I'm able to tell the story without laughing. But it is definitely a serious matter when it comes to mental health and, you know, the homeless, and I don't think you can say home. I think you're supposed to say the transient community. Like, it's hard out here. So that, like I said, when it comes to slow people, as I'm getting older, I learned to give slow people a pass. I did not want to interact with that lady at all. I was like, let her know you don't want it with me. But yeah, so that's my story time, y'all, of this lady taking a dump on the metro bus. Y'all. Ooh. But I promise our next few story times, they're not going to be as crazy as this one was. I want to thank all of my supporters and my subscribers. If you are new, like I said, please take a moment to support the channel. It is free to hit that like button. It's free to subscribe. I also have my Cash App and my PayPal down in the description box. I tell everybody every day, 34 cents a day. 34 cents, okay? 34 cents a day will keep a baddie on her way. Like, on her way to her next trip, on the way to her next vacation. Like, y'all support the channel. Like, whether it's monetary or you all support by sharing, liking the video, I'm grateful either way. I love the community that we have here. I love reading y'all's comments. So please tell me, like, what y'all think. Have y'all had any crazy experiences on public transportation? Because this by far is definitely my craziest story. Like I said, I have seen some things, child, but I have never seen someone defecate on the metro. Okay, so yes, until next week, baddies, until our next story time, until our next travel vlog, until our next podcast, peace.
Work 9 to 5, putting in overtime.